Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And we just had a random neighborhood kid fiddling around with the computer a little bit. We got a new background, new computer, new tools, looks a lot better. And the content hopefully is just as good as it always was, same as it ever was. Today is BOLO Saturday. We will show you a whole bunch of things that sold, do a deep dive into them, tell you why they sold, what they are, and all of that. And all we ask in return is that you hit the like button when you're done watching. Take it away, Mr. Magazine.
That was a mouthful. All right, here
Certainly
we go.
Was.
If anyone's into music, we got the Critters, Mr. Dingley. Is that it? Dingley
sure.
said. This is the sleeve only for a 45 RPM, and
wow.
it went for $26.
Wow.
Can't argue with that.
Now, what would it be worth with the record? 25?
$5. It's actually very common with the record. No,
Terrible song.
Probably $40.
$40,
But
okay.
still, it looks like not much, but it's something once you put it on eBay.
Nice.
All right.
So basically, don't throw away the record sleeves when you get them,
Correct.
I guess. And a little inside bowl to people. When you get the branded sleeves, whether it's Columbia, whether it's CBS, whatever, you can sell those together in lots as well. So if you have an opportunity to purchase a whole bunch of records, get rid of those sleeves as well. Make some good money.
Paper is power. Next up, vintage London Fog trench coat, men's brown 42 extra long line jacket. Picked this up with a bunch of other clothes. It was all name brand type stuff. I didn't pay a lot for it. Probably $5-10 a piece, and got $50 out of this sucker here. So can't really argue with that.
Right, and London Fog is a named brand as well. It's interesting. You're getting off into clothing now too.
Branching out.
You never know, though. And again, that's something other you definitely can find sitting at an estate sale. People will have that kind of thing sitting up in the closet.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, my lister knew what he was doing. Luger model P08 Parabellum pistol 1/1 scale model scale kit. It does have the Nazi logo in the background. We did not mention it. eBay's been cracking down on that, so it did sell for $202, and I can't argue with that.
Those kind of things are always scary to sell, only because even though it's a model,
well, it's a gun, and it's got the Nazi logo.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know if you sell cap guns, things like that, you're supposed to have the orange thing in the back.
Exactly.
But how can you possibly do that in a model?
Yeah, right, exactly. This was listed in February, so you're talking about almost 5-6 months, so it was up with no issues, so I can't argue with that. I'm shipping it out super fast. Don't have to worry about anything.
Yep.
Next up, Barney's New York 2006 fashion jewelry catalog, only 35 pages. It went for $32.
Now, you wouldn't know this, I wouldn't know this, but I wonder if that's anybody particularly famous on the cover.
She looks kind of familiar, but it's more like a model, probably that from the
New York City
90s, 2000,
like
yeah,
that,
something like that. Yeah.
And those are one of those things that if you wanted to, you try to zoom in on the picture, then use a Google lens on it to try to get a match on it.
Right.
Maybe you could pick up an extra $15. The flip side of that is if it doesn't come up or it's nobody, then you've wasted some time.
Yeah, exactly.
So how often do you want to do that, I guess is the question.
I agree 100%. Next up, Takashi 6'9" Rapper autographed baseball with Beckett COA. I took $40 on this. We had it for $50, but had a lot of offers and everything was in that same price range. I go, you know what? Let me just, I make $10 and move on.
Now, can I ask where you pick up an item like that?
Well, a customer of mine that collects non-athlete, more like celebrity baseballs.
Right.
He buys them. I think he gets bored with them, or he needs money, or this and that, and he'll sell them back. Sell them to me, down the road.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. And again, that's one. Well, that honestly is one of those that you almost have to know what his signature looks like. Because if you're out, you're not necessarily going to know.
I would not know this, and obviously it has to have a certificate like Beckett or JSA or PSA. So then at least you can go online, type the number in, and it's going to tell you who it is then.
Right, but I'm even thinking, okay, I'm at a garage sale or a flea market probably, because a garage sale they might actually know who it is.
Yeah.
But I'm at a flea market. Guy's got a bunch of signed balls, and they're like, they're $5 a piece because he picked them up in an estate.
Right.
That's where knowing it, having had it before, now that I've seen the signature, I'm not going to forget it. Odds are I'm not going to find it, but in case I ever do, at least now it's like, oh, that's his signature, and now we have we're ahead of the other people at the flea market, especially the flea market crowd.
Yeah. And it looks similar to a Donald Trump signature if you know what his looks like. All right, next up, Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn limited edition blood red laser disc. Went for $127.
Oh, I always look at I always look at the title and the picture. I
Yeah.
never look at the price, and I always get stunned.
I had this sitting around for a couple years from that one deal in Ohio. It trickled into some record box, and I had my employees start listening to records, and it showed up, and extra 127 in my pocket, minus fees, of course.
No, of course. Wow. Well, I didn't bring any kind of noise like that whatsoever. I bring my own style of noise. Oswego Falls Seal Right Story Booklet, New York, 1955. Food packaging safety. And let me tell you, there is nothing more enthralling than food packaging safety. When we're over here looking at this thing here, it went for $44. And again, this is, well, one thing I want to know is free 2 to 4 days shipping. I don't know what that means.
Well, it's probably the new shipping the post office rolled out.
Maybe it's 2 minus 4 days shipping, so
Yeah.
minus 2 days shipping. I ship it before you buy it. Now it's pretty neat there. It's got a lot of things and photos of things that they package and everything. But this ties into what I always say: pick up local items. Things definitely sell from a local area. But and this is something that I used to not do. I never would have before listed Oswego Falls in it. I would have said, "Oh, who cares? People are going to want it because of the seal right." And then I would have said, ice cream or whatever the packaging is. Never would have listed Oswego Falls, and I would have been missing the most important thing.
Mulholland Falls maybe, but not Oswego.
Correct, exactly. Which really hurts because it has nothing at all to do with Mulholland Falls.
Exactly.
So I get a lot of returns.
Yeah.
Next up. Too Many Cooks by Rex Stout, Book of the Week, December 4th, 1938, Syracuse Herald. This was actually in a short that we put up over on YouTube as well. Definitely do check the shorts out if you haven't already. They only take 30 to 40 seconds, so they're worth checking out. This is newspaper size. It was a supplement to the newspaper. Went for $54. You cannot argue with that. You definitely can find this sort of thing in piles of newspapers because nobody's going to pull it out. They're not going to know what it is or care what it is.
Right.
But if you collect Rex Stout, odds are you probably don't have this, especially not if you're not from around the Syracuse area. They would have released this sort of thing. And I don't know, I'm making this up, 20 different newspapers, 30 different newspapers. So there might be one for Philadelphia, there might be one for Syracuse. And if you're really a completist, guess what you really want?
Good luck.
One from each newspaper as well. No, definitely good luck, but there are people out there with that kind of collecting. Up next, Service for the First Nights of Passover, 1928 hardcover. This actually I picked up at a house call. The person who was at the house call before me left it because he wouldn't have known how to list it. Thanks to the Google Translate, I was able to get this listed. Actually got an email from a gentleman in Israel who said, customs on this is going to be $75. Would you take $74? I said, yes, I will. So,
nice.
and then the shipping as well. So it ended up costing $29, I think, to ship it to him. He paid the shipping as well. So I was quite happy with that because, again, this is one of those things that most of my competitors would not touch. Or if they did touch it, it would be sitting in the corner of their garage and eventually move to me anyway. Up next. Rochester, New York War Chest, 1918 booklet. Will she find it filled? Exactly. World War I with Lady Liberty right over there. I think it took a $25 offer on it, if I remember right. And again, it's just one of those things that I probably should have put. I should have put WW1 on it because it was right at the end of World War I, or I should have put Liberty on it. That being said, I did list it earlier this year, and it did sell this year as well. But again, the graphics, I'm sure what sold this actually sold to somebody in Buffalo. Maybe they're collecting Rochester stuff, but more likely probably World War I stuff. Up next, Harper's Weekly, April 5th, 1884, Thomas Nast. Thomas Nast is, of course, a very famous artist. It took $30 on it. If you see things out there, Nast, do pick them up. If you do see the Santa Claus covers with Nast, pick those up because you could double or triple the price of a normal issue if you get the Santa Claus out there.
Cool.
So definitely something to be on the lookout for. And the final thing to be on the lookout for is
Small.
not hitting the right button. Is Santa Claus himself. St. Nicholas Magazine, December 1923, Santa Claus along with Ralph Henry Barber and Henry Pitts. $35 I ended up getting out of this. St. Nicholas is actually a low-key okay magazine. Most of the issues aren't good, but there are some issues out there, like this one over here with Santa Claus. You've got some issues with, I believe it's L. Frank Baum in it. A few other good issues out there. Always pick them up when you see them. You can get them for $1 or less, and most of your competitors are going to walk right by them. Certainly, at least pick them up to look at them and see what the contents are. You'll be surprised. Some of these issues actually do sell pretty well. You just have to be able to market them properly. So hopefully that little presentation there deserves hitting the like button. I certainly hope that it does, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.